It's a good thing. Hey, I'm Ivan, this is Joe, and today we're talking about Stranger Things, which everyone has seen on Netflix, except for maybe you, and if not, then why not?
Yeah, sort it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're missing out.
Yeah, you are. What are they missing out on, Joe?
Well, they are missing out on what has been described by a guy I work with
Expert opinions, right?
as a cross between E.T. and the Goonies with, my personal favourite, a mild dose of John Hughes thrown in, and plenty of Spielberg.
So it's about a group of childhood aliens who all go to school.
Yes.
So the series is about a group of kids who all play Dungeons and Dragons together. They're all, nice and tight. But then one of them goes missing around the same time that alien monster things seem to start happening, and a mysterious girl appears with telepathic powers.
Yeah, classic. And of course that is around the same time that the local sheriff starts to notice some strange military activity happening in the strange facility with lots of important government people in long coats.
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder.
So it's a happy story.
Yeah, with Winona Ryder.
With Winona Ryder.
I mean, everything she's in is happy, right?
She is so good.
Yeah, Girl Interrupted, really happy.
How old is Winona Ryder now?
Mid-40s?
No idea. It's an irrelevant question. It's a trick question because she hasn't aged at all in the last 30 years.
Yeah, it's really odd. She gives hope everywhere to women with deep voices.
Who, Winona Ryder?
Yeah.
She has a very deep voice.
She does. It's
You
like,
took my son.
it's
Go
like,
to
it's
hell.
like not a cute girly voice. She just shrieking and then the kind of...
Will.
And she is exceptionally good, and she is just one of a whole cast that are exceptionally good. And seriously, we found like a new crop of absolutely fantastic child stars. And I don't know enough about the casting, but you look at some of the behind-the-scenes photos of the cast on the red carpet, especially Luke, the kid who plays Lucas, who has killer style for an 11-year-old. They just look like a bunch of mates, which is exactly what you need because they are the beating heart of this show and they carry it through. And the dynamic and the kind of the relationships between all of them, so convincing.
I like the way that you start off them playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then throughout the entire series, they're always referring back to that. And so the monster becomes a Demogorgon, the weapon they're trying to be with the catapult, which is clearly not going to work. But that's what they do, because that's how they, interact with this weird crap that's going on.
Yeah, it's got this lovely retro feel, but you get the kind of old-timey gaming sense that they do all just bond together over it, which is really sweet.
And the retro period is really, really good. The music.
Yeah.
I need the soundtrack now.
Well, they're releasing it.
They are. I need it now.
I'm very excited.
But like the costumes are really good. That's all. The houses, the lighting. Yeah. Everyone has really good hair in this.
It is the 80s.
Yeah.
Some bratty teenagers because, nice little nod to the John Hughes, where outside of the group of the main kind of younger boys, you have one of them's older sister who's kind of like late teens, and you get her dynamic with all the popular kids and the guy she kind of fancies and the weird local boy who kind of is involved in the mystery and kind of wants to get a bit close to her, but is also out trying to find his little brother who has gone missing.
Will and Jonathan look so alike.
Yeah, the two brothers.
It's really good casting.
Yeah, definitely.
They both have the mouth.
So
teeth
actually,
thing.
Nancy and Mike also look quite similar too.
Yeah.
So they've got that age level, and that's kind of slightly John Hughesy, and then the kind of proper grown-ups with Winona Ryder and
like Goonies.
Yeah.
John Hughes.
Yeah.
John Carpenter. As your kind of three levels.
like
Or
that.
Stephen King.
Yes.
As your kind of three levels.
Definitely Stephen King.
And it's weird how then as you go further up the chain, it seems to get a little scarier, perhaps.
But of course, because you're seeing it through the eyes, a lot of the time the eyes of the kids, who are seeing it with the childlike wonder that we all used to watch sci-fi. It's scary, but when you're seeing it through their eyes, naturally you would be more scared, but you're just treating it with wonder. They face off these kind of terrifying aliens with the efficiency of a crack team of hardcore Dungeons and Dragons players, and the adults just totally melt down.
Yeah.
But the kids and then their kind of teenage contingent with all their crazy weaponry, like
the baseball bat with
spikes in, revolvers, gasoline, a bear trap, and they just kind of treat it like it's all some sort of kind of awesome, 80s action film. And the adults are the only ones who think, this isn't quite as cool because these are aliens. And the kids are like, fucking it's aliens, this is so cool.
Yeah. But the adults, of course, have the loss of the kids as well. They feel all of that. The sheriff's daughter that you kind of you get the flashback story of. So there's that nice kind of, for them, the stakes are higher because they see
they understand how loss works.
But yeah,
supposedly. Well, we're pretty sure that Chief Hopper definitely understands how loss
Chief
works.
Hopper
with
is
his
the
other
best.
girl.
The number of fucks he seems to give at the beginning is 0.
Oh yeah.
And then that gradually increases by the end of it, and then it's like 12 or 13 or maybe even 17.
Yeah,
it's like a big number.
Yeah, he's great. Him and his hat.
Yeah, I like that. No. David Harbour's forehead is massive.
Well, I mean, they didn't really do fringes.
Did everyone have massive foreheads?
It would seem so. I mean, look at the villain guy who will now just be known as the villain guy.
All the cool people have hats.
Yeah, definitely. Like Dustin.
Dustin, yeah, but that's a baseball
is
cap.
Awesome, but he still has a hat.
I don't have a baseball cap.
Well, it's fine because you're not Dustin. Dustin is great. We love Dustin. Oh, Dustin.
I love the fact.
Hero of our times. Sorts shit out, repairs friendships, finds chocolate pudding. Dustin manages to be simultaneously the one that you would expect to be the annoying kid who always lags behind in the back and is picked last for gym, but is also the beating moral heart of the gang of boys, knocking their heads together when they misbehave, sorting stuff out, finding chocolate pudding. He's really good at finding chocolate pudding. He's really good
at the chocolate pudding.
Yeah, sorts it out.
And and when he's manipulating the teacher as well.
Yeah.
He's like, no, can you help us with the
sensory deprivation tank in the gym?
Yeah. On a Saturday night.
For reasons. And our mum's here, don't ask why.
The Duffer Brothers are really good at that.
Yeah.
They take all of these stock types. You have the world-weary sheriff, you have the kids doing the Dungeons and Dragons, you have the
teenage girl on the flush of becoming popular.
Exactly, you have the weird kid who's a bit of the outsider with the camera.
Yep.
All of these tropes of the strange extraterrestrial kid with the telekinetic powers, all of these kind of tropes that you have from kind of 80s horror, 80s sci-fi, they're really good at fleshing those out into becoming actual characters.
They flesh it out just enough that because you have the advantage of the enthusiasm of the kids, you're totally bought into it from the off.
Yeah.
They don't need to labour the amount of time they spend.
You need to listen. I'm okay.
See, Steve is quite nice, really.
Is he?
He kind of sort of tries to redeem himself.
Right.
He looks a bit like Jamie Cullen.
Oh, no, I don't fancy him anymore.
So let's talk a little bit about Elle, who is, simultaneously the best and most terrifying small child ever.
I'm a bit scared.
Yeah. Firstly, what's with the Eggos?
Yeah, we couldn't figure this out. She
really likes Eggos.
We actually had to look up Eggos. Oh, they're like waffles. Frozen waffles.
A brand of frozen waffles in the United States, Canada and Mexico, which is owned by the Kellogg's.
Yeah.
So Kellogg's have some kind of sponsorship deal to constantly have Eggos mentioned. It's like at least once an episode someone mentions Eggos.
Interesting.
That's the real conspiracy here.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it is one of those, maybe they're trying to get to us through Netflix. Don't buy Eggos.
Millie Brown is fantastic.
Yeah, she's really good. She's got these amazing kind of luminous eyes that shine out of the screen that simultaneously, they're terrifying when she needs to be terrifying, but she can also do total terror and confusion. She's just got this, all of the kids, but her especially, has this fantastically expressive face.
And so much of the first couple of episodes, the first 4
she barely
episodes,
speaks.
She doesn't speak. And
she
all of it is just completely and utterly non-verbal.
It's all expressed, and is an incredible talent.
I think
for
pretty much the only thing she says is bad.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. And looks confused.
And it's fantastic. It really works.
And it's lovely watching her interact with Mike. Between the two of them, they both have these wonderfully expressive little faces, and it's just watching the kind of mystery and confusion in her eyes, and the curiosity but also determination in his. And
there's a lot of the kind of Elliot E.T. vibe that goes into that.
Yeah. It's very like that.
Which is, again, taps straight into the Spielberg kind of...
Yeah, including a lot of the times when they go out on their little bicycle trips, and she's not exactly riding in a basket, but she is riding on the front of his bike.
And if she wanted, she could totally make them go in front of the moon or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I did expect at one point she was going to levitate the bicycles, and they would do a proper
that would be so awesome.
But that would have been too obvious.
Yeah, it's better than that.
Yeah,
it is. It's subtler.
You can sit there and you can go, oh, that's a reference to this, that's a reference to that. the bits of it when they visit the alien dimension.
It's clearly this is like Alien with the eggs and the type things
and the lighting
and the suits, all of that.
Yeah.
But the monster is so different. There's no plungery thing. There's no ghastly blood. It's just with their head opening like a flower.
That are so Ridley Scott Alien, but
yeah.
enough that you can go, oh, it's Ridley Scott Alien, as opposed to, oh, that's a direct copy of Ridley Scott Alien.
Exactly, because that has enough of returns
it's
back.
boring.
They really like saying bitch when they attack the monster, don't they?
I mean,
it's just totally alien, isn't it? It's all just corny weird.
yeah, get away from her, you bitch.
There's that really weird kind of organic alien feel to it, which again is vaguely kind of, Geiger-esque when you go back to kind of Alien and Prometheus and so forth.
Yeah,
but
it is very Venus flytrap-esque.
And that's different to any monster that I can think of in a movie, which is nice. It's nice that they've genuinely tried to find
they haven't gone overboard, and they have made it something that seems sort of tangible, but it almost seems like it could have been constructed by the evil guy with the huge forehead, because it does just look like a mutilated human.
He does have a really big forehead. You've got the trees that are being used as these kind of portal gateways, and the way that kind of the bark closes up over it, and the kind of noises that the noises, all of that stuff works really well. It just makes it slightly creepier, because it re-emphasises how not of this world it is.
Yeah, and they use the synth soundtrack quite well against that, because
which is classic Carpenter. So presumably the idea is that Elle is reaching out into this other dimension because of the scientists kind of forcing her to do that, to make this connection with this thing, and then that's what brings the monster into our world. Is that what we insinuate?
We haven't quite established exactly who we have a pretty strong idea of who Elle is, or where she originally came from, or 11 or whatever we wish to call her, and a pretty good understanding of exactly why the portal opened there and then, and that is kind of it. Again, we have been dropped into the show and dropped into the scenario using the boy's disappearance, and we get to the end of it and we're still not really any the wiser about how is this portal open, who are these government people, what are they actually trying to do. Everybody's theorising. There are some who think Elle is an alien herself, some who think she's a weapon created to destroy the Russians. Was she a snatched child? Are there other missing children? Are the children being snatched by the monster?
The Eggos what give her secret powers.
You've got to stop with the Eggo conspiracy.
But if I eat Eggos, will I become Professor Xavier if I eat Eggos?
It's worth a shot.
Because I'll do it.
Give it a go. You eat them, and
I'm
then
gonna get
I'll
some
try
Eggos.
it, and I'll become Mystique.
Is the scientist man with the big forehead and the evil hair? Is he actually a father? It's possible.
Yeah, is he?
It's not completely ruled out. It's very unlikely.
Well, we've got the tinges of fatherhood and the obligation behind fatherhood with Hopper. Over the space of kind of 10 minutes in an episode, we see a horrible series of just the flashbacks of what that actually did to him, to the point that at the time he is trying to rescue someone else's child. And it's just deeply, deeply sad. And
the show is really good at those flashbacks. It constantly does echoes of actions, either in the past to give you a sense of backstory, or it does it in terms of kind of parallel universes where you see the kind of the kids in the hallway, one in reality, and then in the upside down world you see Winona Ryder and the sheriff, and they're kind of going through that, and it's very, very good at those echoes of everything.
Yeah, you can see the worlds kind of running in parallel.
There's that really nice shot in the final episode where Winona Ryder sits down and the evil scientist with the forehead comes in, and they're sitting down in front of the window in the police interrogation room, and there's kind of this vaguely foggy reflection back at them, which is just really effective. But
yeah, they run the parallels quite nicely.
One of the things I really, really like about the parallels is the way that you have all of these different groups of characters all trying to solve the same problem. And they're not really aware that the other groups are doing it. You have kind of the adults sorting stuff out in the Ridley Scott area of the plot. Then you have the kids, sorting out their own way to go through things with Elle. And then you have the teenagers
who are trying to track down.
And they all kind of vaguely work together-ish to kind of impact upon each other, but they don't really know that the other groups are doing something as well. For them, they've solved the problem. So let's talk about the endings. If you haven't seen this, stop watching now, okay? There are spoilers, yeah? Spoilers. Do you think that? Spoilers. Okay. So,
Well, the bit where they were all abducted by aliens, and then it was revealed that the townspeople were all Soylent Green. No, wait, hold on.
that's the wrong thing. What are Linden?
Oh my god, what an ending. They basically, they've taken away all my good feelings about Christmas, which I kind of resent them for now.
Yeah.
My house is full of fucking fairy lights.
I used to think Christmas lights were really nice. Now they're the scariest thing ever. Oh, the monster's coming out and see it! I never really want to have Christmas again because all that means is...
Not entirely true, but yeah, if anybody goes off to the bathroom coughing, I'm going to be deeply suspicious, especially if they've been absent for a prolonged period of the story.
Yeah. So, obviously there are unanswered questions at the end. Let's talk through some of those. So, firstly, Will's back. Great, he's safe.
Yay, Will's
Everything's
back.
fine, but
He's
oh no,
coughing
he's in
up
the...
slugs in the sink.
Yeah, exactly. Which is not, just for the record, that's not normal period kids' behaviour. That's not what they did in the 1980s.
Yeah.
It wasn't a slug coughing fest.
Oh god.
Ah! Oh, what's that? It came out of his mouth!
We were there for some of it,
Yeah.
for the early parts, the
Mm.
later parts of it, and I definitely wasn't doing
I
it.
was not coughing up slugs.
No. Worms.
Especially not weird alien worm slugs from another dimension.
No, definitely not.
So does that mean then that's part of the thing that came out of his mouth?
gross. Yeah.
It was gross. This is
Oh,
really horrible. Was
that?
that part of that? Was that coming out still, or is there an alien in him? Is there what are we? What are
Yeah,
we
we can't because all the people that were all the bodies that Hop and Joyce saw. Hop and Joyce saw trapped in the other dimension, including Barb. Poor Barb.
Poor Barb.
Poor Barb.
Why does no one care about Barb?
They were jealous of her hair and her Gucci vibes, and they just hated Barb.
Let's start a Barb fan club. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. You're in. You're in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Go Barb.
Woo,
So,
Team Barb.
Team Barb.
Team Barb.
So Will coughing up the slugs. More importantly, when he coughs up the slugs, then the whole bathroom switches to the other parallel
Oh.
universe. So does that mean that he can see both? Does that mean he's able to transport between them? Does that
Yeah.
mean there's a portal in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Does that mean that I don't know? Does that just normally happen? It's every time anyone uses the sink.
Well, because we know that the kind of creepy Venus flytrap alien is summoned by blood. We established that. I'm trying to figure out the logic behind it.
Well, its head opens up and then it eats things.
Yeah, but
That's
why?
what more logic do you need? It kind of goes. That's the logic. There's no.
It's beautiful.
There's.
Is that what
That's.
you're like on a first date?
I'm not commenting on that.
But also, they are summoned because that was the first time that we actually saw it try and cross through was in Joyce and Jonathan and Will's house.
Mm-hmm.
So
is there
is
something
there
there?
something in that house? Is there a
Apart from a
reason?
lot of Christmas lights.
Lot of Christmas lights. So many Christmas lights. I kind of love it. Like that will be my vibe this Christmas. But with fewer aliens.
Crazy woman with child who's been abducted by aliens.
No, just a fuck lot of Christmas lights.
Good vibe.
But yeah, like is there something specific in that house? Is because Joyce was so desperately trying to connect with Will when he was in the other dimension?
The bit with the axe
connections
was fantastic when she
stronger
just smacks a hole in the wall.
Oh, we've all done that.
Which
It's
again
it's
is
like
like
Demolition
that.
Man.
Well, I was thinking more Stephen King's The Shining, but
Or that.
yeah.
I mean, Homes Under the Hammer, Stephen King. I mean, they are.
It's really Tones Under the Hammer, I think, is what the Duffer Brothers are really trying to to reference.
Demolition with Joyce. Yeah, Winona Ryder would be really good at that. Just give her a hammer.
Yeah.
And then
I can't wait to season 2, Cash in the Attic.
Cash and also aliens.
But then we also see Hopper going into the woods, leaving the basket of food or the packet of food in the hut in the woods, along with
some Eggos.
Eggos. So if he's putting an Eggo in a box, that means that in theory she's still alive and out there. Like, you know how the monsters smell blood?
She smells
Eggos.
Eggos. So, again, what does he know that we don't?
Exactly.
What secrets have been divulged to him by those sinister-looking guys in the large black car he got into after leaving the hospital?
So presumably that means that the government scientist people, the evil forehead man, who's no longer with us. Or is he dead? Does he die?
Yeah, he did actually. He got munched or at least set upon by unimpressed burned Demogorgon.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't like to be set upon by one of those personally. It looked like really tricky on the work health insurance. So
that means the government agent types know that Elle is alive, presumably, and that then they've told him, because his agreement with them was that everything could kind of go back to normal and they would be let go and stuff if they didn't talk about it again.
No
but
more
there's
talk.
clearly shit to talk about.
Yeah, and of course, this is a man who is still grieving for the death of his daughter.
Mhm.
This is a man who will naturally be very protective of a lonely, lost little semi-alien ticking time bomb of a weapon that happens to be living in the woods behind his house.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's only human. We would all leave our Eggos for a sad little Elle, especially if she threatened to crush our brains.
I've always left out Eggos as a Christmas tradition. You go out into the woods, you put the Eggos in the trees. That's what you do.
Okay.
That's
Is this an Essex thing?
So there are a few other weird unsolved mysteries. Obviously, there's the slugs, which we kind of covered in.
Oh, no, thank you.
There are going to be a lot of trips to Tops Tiles
So
in
many
the new
trips,
year.
and IKEA wasn't a thing, was it?
No.
No. Just the local.
But
ones.
grouting alone, the mind boggles.
Ooh, yeah, so much grouting. But it's fine, because that's an adult problem. Meanwhile, the kids are happily playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
And that's the third interesting thing. Our four young plucky heroes reassemble and finish the show in the way they began it, by playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Obviously fighting a brand new monster. Demogorgon is no more. They have a new foe to fight. Which they seem to dispatch surprisingly easily. And then they all remark on how quick and simple it was. Haven't we just been playing this game for hours? They say, what about, who do they name? What about the lost knight that they don't encounter? What about the
Proud
princess?
And
It's
the
like
mysterious flowers in the woods.
Yeah, and these are three specific things that they list and go, where are those? Why didn't we encounter those on this journey? And then, of course, they all dash off to
why were they
Christmas
loose ends left
Yeah.
untied?
Which, I mean, it's basically like they sum up the show.
Do they? I don't know. Do they refer to anything? Like,
yes.
is the lost knight the sheriff guy? Because he's kind of the knight guy, but he's a bit lost. Or is the proud princess like Elle, or is that Nancy? I don't know. The mysterious flowers in the woods. That feels very much like it has a connection to the flowery alien things.
Yeah. I mean, they could all relate to Elle. The lost knight, because she simultaneously is the knight and the princess. They think they save her, they dress her up all pretty, she looks cute, they rescue her. She is pretty, but she also saves their lives. She sacrifices herself to save their lives. Again, a nice little, as I liked the hints of wordplay in that final tease over the game of Dungeons and Dragons, to see where we might pick up the second series, which we very much hope is 100% confirmed.
Mm-hmm. And all of that wrapped up in a nice little kind of happy ending.
Yeah, lovely.
With them,
playing games,
having dinner.
Yeah, and then the creepy music starts.
Yeah. But because now it's Christmas, that means it's snowing outside, which means you have the kind of...
Yeah, you can't tell which reality you're
Exactly,
in.
it's brilliant.
Very clever.
It's really subtle.
Yeah. Great.
Ruin Christmas.
Thanks, Duffer Brothers.
Yeah, why did you have to ruin Christmas?
Big lump of coal in your stockings from Eggos Santa. The alien slug ruined Christmas for me.